Thank you for joining me. Today's February 4th, 2023. I'm going to do some red light therapy work. We're going to focus on the brain today. I'm your host, Joseph William Baker, and let's see what we have to do here. Right. So, first off, I want to do an advisory type of thing. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Wink. And Joe Baker's Remedy Report is a show about bringing harmony to the world through economic innovations, health tips, increased awareness. And, well, here we go. I've got a keen mind for economics, understanding things of value, where we can have avalanches of prosperity and so forth. And one of them is in the area of health. So, I've been looking at the work of Dr. Garrett Smith. I don't know that he's a doctor or whatever. I know he's went to medical school, but he calls himself nutritiondetective.com. You can find him at. And one of the things he was talking about is how light can activate an enzyme in the brain that detoxes the vitamin A. He talks about how vitamin A is a poison. So the food that you're eating with vitamin A in it is accumulating in your body, particularly if you eat it with fats. Then it binds to the fats and gets stored in your body. So now this is something you want to do sparingly. I'm going to maybe do a session for several minutes. And I'll just point this as if your head is here, and we're illuminating your brain with red light, and we're hoping that this thing's going to throw off a lot of heat here, but I don't expect you'll feel any heat there. But what may happen is this is an experiment. And I think what will happen is I will be activating enzymes inside your brain that are already there, that know how to break apart the vitamin A, the toxic chemicals in there. And the vitamin A becomes retinol in the brain. They use retinol on your skin to peel off, the old skin and stuff. It dissolves it and stuff, right? You don't want something in your brain that's going to dissolve it. So we're going to try to break that down and try to flush it out. You'll come back and watch this show, whenever you want to get this. I'm not asking you to buy a red lamp. I think this is probably better than the LEDs that they have out there. The LEDs will have all kinds of electromagnetic interference. Well, let's get right to it, and we'll do a little bit of this therapy. Turn this on. All right, so we got the red lamp. So I have a gift for being able to translocate energy for people. All right, so your head is here, and I'm just work on mine as well. I'm just holding it there. It's 4:15 on my clock. Does anybody have a sensation from this? Can you feel it? Unfortunately, I can handle this pretty well. I'm keeping focused on how this is, connecting with your brain. I think I'm feeling it a little bit. Got about 4 people watching. So we're working on the brain. Remember, this is probably going to cause headaches later, but it's not easy getting the vitamin A out of your body. It's a long chore, and I think 4:15, 4:16 now, 17. So we're almost closing in on 2 minutes. 2 minutes of the red light therapy. I am astonished at the testimonials I'm hearing from the nutrition doctor or nutritiondetective.com and what health gains people are making by restricting their vitamin A intake. Things like liver that are just loaded with vitamin A. They may have a lot of other minerals in them, but what good is it to get all those minerals if you're also getting dumped on with poison? All right, I'm going to probably bring an end to the red light therapy for now. I don't want anybody to get too much of it. If you want, you can go back and you can play that segment over, and you'll have access to more and more of the red light. Whoo, this thing's hot. Good. Now, some other things we can do with the red light therapy and the brain. I'm going to heat this up a little bit because this ring is, I know the ring gets much stronger when it's hot. Through personal experience. And so you want to drink some water. And when I say water, I don't mean tea, I don't mean coffee, I don't mean soda or liquids. I mean water. Drink water. Folks, you need water in your diet. And you shouldn't drink it before you eat. If you're going to eat and then let your stomach digest the food and then drink the water maybe an hour later after you eat. There's a lot of common sense that needs to be put into when you drink your water. All right, let's give this a try. All right, so I'm going to put this on your brain, on the top of your head, and moving it down. I got to turn it off. Let that cool down. And this is putting a different kind of light to your brain. Light that travels in swirly, rotational sorts of waves. We call them torsion waves. Let's see, begin recording. And we will do this kind of gently. Brains. Everybody who's watching, everybody who ever will watch. Good. And end recording. And then play that recording back over and over, looping for 30 minutes. Great. So that should be pretty gentle, but powerful, energetic treatment. And now a little bit on the brain. We're going to work on I'll just put the tuning fork in the brain to bring more coherence to the energetics. All right, next we'll do some distance ranging, going through the timeline of your life. And I'll be waving my hand around. This is just nothing more than moving the fork to a certain distance away from your body off the side. And so as I do this, I'm moving closer. So I go backward, I'm moving back away. And this just helps to get us to just the right spot. All right, so what we're looking for, I'm going to break the 5 feet of your lifespan. The 5 feet off to the side of your body is your lifespan. And we're going to start with your birth, the gestation, all of that, and then move forward through your life up to the present day. And what I want you to do is maybe keep a notepad handy on the side, and we'll range it from 0 to 50. 50 will mean right up to present day, and 0 means out in at your conception and gestation period in your mother. So you'll feel things at different times during this, and there'll be little odd sensations in your body. It won't necessarily be at your brain. You might feel it in your fingertips or your feet, but it'll be a strong sensation. And I want you to write it down, the number that I was saying when you felt that. That will enable us to come back to it and work on it with a lot more repetitiveness. Now, if you're watching a replay of this program and you're not watching live, then just use the left arrow key, or I'll put it up on YouTube, and you can like double click to the left of the screen and it'll shift back a few moments in the video and play it, and just play that spot over and over again that you feel until it's gone, until you don't feel it anymore. And that will happen. So when it does, it's a really great thing because we're clearing up traumatic residue in your life. And you can then your body can actually function a lot better as a result, both physically, mentally, and probably spiritually, if we want to talk about it that way. So it's kind of like work where we're polishing your soul, if you will. And so I'm going to make that work. Then there's going to be a part you're going to not want to miss, where I collect all of the energy that we've dislodged and kind of dissolved, and I bring that back to your brain and release it, kind of like this is kind of what I'm doing, releasing it, and the tuning fork will vibrate, and you'll be breathing deep inhalation and exhalation cycles as this kind of light comes back into your brain. Now you'll feel lighter afterward, and your balance will be different. Think of it as if you're holding shopping bags full of groceries out here, and that's like the weight of your trauma. And this has always affected your balance. But as we clear it and you feel lighter, it'll be a little different, and it'll take some getting, accustomed to. So you want to spend, maybe 4 hours of your day focusing on, your motor skills and just getting retrained to your balance a little bit. All right, here we go. All that said, all right. So I'm going to start at 0 and move up to 50. 0 being your birth, your conception. Here we go. Visiting mom and dad again. All right. 0. 1. 2. 3. And if you feel something, speak up. Tell us in this chat room what you're feeling. Even if it's a replay, that way we can keep a record of it so we can get back to it and work on it. 3. And I'm happy to stay and work on a spot that you have issues with. Now, some of you, if you've we're going through your gestation and birth. If you had a difficult birth, that affects your adrenal glands' ability to measure out how much cortisol they dump out. So, on a separate time, we might want to work on that. And we can really improve your body, your life, because you won't have that kind of PTSD from the traumatic childbirth. So we're on 3. 3. 4. 5. 5. 6. 7. 7. 8. 8.5. 8.5. 9. 9. 9.5. 10. 10. 11. We're going all the way to 50. Kind of combing through the timeline of your life. 10. 10.5. Feel something here. A lot. It's like my arm is squeaky almost. Coming up on 11. All right, 11. Backing up a little bit. Coming forward again. Well, you know who you are. You can just play this section over and over again if you're feeling it. Play it over and over until you don't feel it anymore. But I'm going to keep working on it. See, a little bit. 11. Good. All right, we're continuing. Strike again for 11. 12. 12. There, I'm feeling something in my brain. Make a note of that. Feb 4th, 2023. Brain therapy. I think it was 11 to 12. Range 0 to 50. Birth. Current. For me, it was in the right rear of brain. That's 11 to 12. Okay, thanks. Might as well make a notation of this. I know when I was, anyway, you know how we always just clunk our heads on everything here and there. 11. 12. 12. 12.5. 13. 13.5. 14. 14. Feeling a lot in the frontal, well, the right side. 14. 14. 15. 16. I'm feeling something at 16 and a half in the lower back left. 16 and a half. Sixteen and a half. 16 and a half. 16 and 3/4. I'm feeling my right ear. And that's at 27 minutes into the show. I notice this a lot when I do these types of work on the brain. I have, it'll affect my eardrum certain ways, aside from the frequency. So 16.75. 17. 17. I'm feeling something in my left palm. Must have been when I was playing football in high school. 17 left palm. 17. 18. 19. This whole 18.75 range, I have sensations. 18.75. In the right side. It's up above the ear, up in here. 18.75. 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 22, 22 and a half, 23, 23, 24, 25, 25, 26, 27, 27, 28. I felt something along that whole 27 range. I'll put that as rear right. 27, 28, 29, 30, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 34, 35. I should mention if anybody feels too much um, anxiety or like you feel like you want to jump out of your body when you hear this tone, let me know in the comments. Change to another channel and come back, and I'll get the stone ready. Well, I can give it to you. It's right here somewhere. So I hand this stone to you. It's black tourmaline, polished, so it doesn't have all the ridges that are normally in it. And you just take it, and if you can try it, put it over your. If you're sensitive to these things, you'll notice the difference. If you put this over your belly button a little higher, um, it'll make the anxiety you experience from the tuning fork much less. And then we can still find it, we can work on it, but um, at your own uh, pace or anything. You're watching this later, just take the stone. I mean, I know this sounds preposterous, but just imagine you're taking it and set it down someplace where it is at, where you can grab it again. All this stuff is all these kind of energetics. They're really uh, imaginations, of your mind. Your mind can imagine and create the same kind of energetics that a lot of other things do. So if you use a tool, you can you can replicate it by imagining you have the tool, at least for purposes of, I think, and I think where this works especially is in terms of signaling enzymes in your body to perform necessary work. All right. Anyway, here we go. We're continuing. Let's see, we were at 27 at least. It's my last recorded note. But I just want you to feel the difference. All right. So at 27, it's without, 27, and with the stone. I'm putting it at the base of the tuning fork. So the vibratory nature of the stone itself is interacting with the tuning fork frequency. In case you're wondering, we're using a 144 hertz tuning fork from biofieldtuning.com. It's made of a pretty good alloy that, keeps them from breaking. Though I am disturbed because the ends of my forks get closer and closer, and then they become kind of unusable. So for me, these are an expense. When I do shows like this, this is probably a $40-50 tuning fork, and I am using up my raw materials when I do this show. So if you'd like to consider helping with the show and supporting my work, send me $40 and say, "Hey Joe, here, get yourself another tuning fork," or um, or just let me use the money at my discretion. But that's a way you can send it to me. I've also got a mailing address. I did a show yesterday, and Nancy, we were focusing on the liver, and Nancy got a lot of work done, and she could really feel what I was doing for her. And so, some people just like to send the old-fashioned check, so you can do that this way. Joseph William Baker, 1930 Village Center Circle, number 34444, Las Vegas, Nevada 89134. I'm not in Las Vegas, but I have an electronic mailbox there, and that's how I deal with correspondence and all. Just going over all the stuff I've got here, I can throw up on the screen. I also have a group of affiliates that you can look at that will, if you buy their products using the links that I have there, I'll get a little bit of money. And probably one of the most important ones is the VPN service there. So private internet access. There's a place for like laptops and stuff like that. If you want an ultra secure laptop, I think it's called Pure. We've got an affiliate code in there. The red light, what's it called? The Red Pill Expo with G. Edward Griffin. I've got a code with him on the affiliates thing. So they just had their latest expo. Endometriosis can be cured with biofield tuning. So if you know someone, a woman who suffers from endometriosis, that's an inflammatory pain in the pelvic area, please send them my way. I really want to be of use and help bring remedy to people in all sorts of ways, but it requires word of mouth advertising. Of course, I'll take a moment to talk about Forgiveness Capital. This is where I'm merging economics with forgiveness and looking to create a new kind of asset, financial asset that is based on an act of forgiveness. We've got projects like Remedy Coin and Anti-Money and Bitcoin and anti-money. Well, those are the two big ones. But forgiveness capital is kind of the overarching uh, uh, well, it's church, if you will. I mean, it's basically just the belief that each one of us has infinite value, and that's where we stake it. And when someone who has infinite value forgives somebody else, well, it's a big deal, and that forgiveness has value. Okay, I'm getting back to the brain therapy. Let's go back to. I should make a banner that says brain therapy. Brain brain therapy. That up there, and I'll add the ticker in on the bottom. Um, so we were using in the beginning of the show red light therapy. But anyway, all of these treatments, I imagine energy constructs, which are experimental. You agree to forgive me for any ill effects according to the FPL. It's the Forgiveness Public License. All right, let's continue with 27 on our scale from 0 to 50. 27. 28. 29. 29. 30. 30. 31. 31. 31. 32. 33. 33. 34. 35. Everybody's been real quiet today. 36. 37. Right, what does this do for your brain? Right? This helps to reset the memory of the vasculature system. So your blood vessels in your brain, when they encounter a trauma, they lose some of their ability to open up all the way, or maybe to close up all the way. So your vasculature system in your body also pumps your blood. It's not just your heart that does the pumping. These blood vessels relax and constrict, and they also perform a part of circulation. And resetting or recalibrating the vasculature in a certain organ of your body can have great effects on its function and its ability uh, to do everything it does. Like cleaning itself, repairing itself. Um, blood flow is important to bring nutrition and to expel waste, right? So this is why we're doing this as a brain tune-up. All right, where were we? Oh shoot, I'm gonna go with 30. I think we're at like 30, 31, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 35, 36, whew, 37, 38, 39. From 35 to 39, top of my head was tickling. I do have a lump up here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a big old thing, and I've had it for many years. Kind of need to get that worked on. But maybe if I do my vitamin A restricted diet, it'll just clear itself up. Maybe. Let's hope. So 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 44, 45, 46, 47, 47, 48, 49, 50. 50. We're right up to the body now. All right. So then if you mark down the places that you had an experience, you could go back to those and keep playing those over again until you don't feel them anymore. And then at this point, we're at 48 minutes into the show. Come back to this part, and I'm going to clear up and kind of like sweep all that stuff up, kind of like a using this fork as a magnet, bringing all of that in from both sides of your biofield up to your brain, and then releasing it kind of like this. And you'll be breathing in and out, nice, almost to the point of hyperventilating. But we don't quite want you to fall over. All right, here we go. I'll tell you when to start breathing so in such an extreme fashion. All right, from 0 to 50. I'm going to count by tens. 0, click, drag, collect. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and release. Okay, now do your breathing. Okay, there you go. And that's it. That's our brain treatment for today. And I want you to drink some water. If you have the opportunity to use some Himalayan sea salt in a bath, or a foot soak even. That'll help pull more toxins out. Basically, if what this guy's saying about the vitamin A, a lot of our blood and stuff is just a lot of sludgy toxins, and we really need to get them out. And we've just released some more toxins from your brain. Hey, since we've released them, let's do another round of the red light therapy. Okay, so here we go. Got your brain over here. I'm going to turn you around so I'm accessing it from the back of your head. And it's interesting that brain trauma can cause something called oxygen starvation, where a person thinks that they have to breathe deeply all the time, or whatever, that they feel like they're starved of oxygen all of a sudden for no good reason, and that can be from a brain trauma. I read about that in the ozone therapy group on Facebook. And we're hoping to get the enzymes now acting on the toxins that are in there, to use the enzymes to be signaled by the red light, so they break up the toxins. Maybe go another 30 or 40 seconds with this. Whew. I'm hoping that this lamp is sending enough of the right frequency of the red light to your brain, so that it's signaling those enzymes to break up the toxins. Whew. Enzymes are a very powerful thing. There's one from the silkworm called serapeptase, and that dissolves inviable tissue in your body. So if you've got scars inside your body, you could use serapeptase. I think the way you take it, you have to fast for several hours before taking it, and then fast for several hours after taking it. And you don't take it with any food. If you do take it with food, you're wasting your money, because it's just helping to digest the food in your belly. And what you want it to do is go through your body and find inviable tissue, stuff that isn't living anymore, and have it clean, dissolve it up. All right. I think that's probably about enough for now. I'm noticing that my from all this therapy work, my uh, histamine response is gone like crazy. My nose is stuffing up a lot, and of course we had a lot with the we had a lot going on as well, uh, with other stuff. Is there anything I'm forgetting here? think that's about it. Um, well, I'm going to wrap the show up for today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you ever so much. And if you'd like to contribute to my work or send me some thank you money, you can write me a check to Joseph William Baker, 1930 Village Center Circle, number 34444, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89134. And of course, if you just have PayPal, you could do it that way. Um, and PayPal knows me with this email address, paypal@remedycoin.com. Thank you so much. And we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.